All right, CNT125, Voice over IP Lab. We just got done in the first part doing all of our planning with our IP addressing. We're now going to look at our network map and cable this up to match our network map. Now, here's the logical view just like our map, but let's go over to the physical view. So I go into the physical view, and actually yours might start out this way. Go to your home city, corporate office, into your network closet, and here. I have this kind of simulated like it would be your lab table, but I actually added an extra table, extra PC, extra phone, which is an advantage in this lab. I actually have more equipment. I left only the 2011 router and one switch in here. The 4221 routers that we have don't do IP phone, but the 2011s do. So I just left the 2011 in here so we didn't accidentally start using the wrong router this time. So let's start cabling this up as we see here. I'll grab a straight through cable and go from my router 00 port to 24 on the switch. So I need to, let's zoom in here a little bit. We need the 00 port, so there's the 01. We need the 00. I'm going to go from here to port 24 on the switch. Now remember, that matters because we're going to configure VLANs and trunking on here. It matters what port I'm using. I'm then going to, from my switch, I'm going to cable to the phones first, and then I'm going to cable from the phone to the PC, and I do need to pay attention to the ports on the back of the phone that I'm using. Hopefully you remember from your reading, there is a switch port and there's a PC port. There's actually a little miniature switch built into these phones, and they're kind of designed to make connection. This port is made to connect to the switch, this is made to connect to the PC. If you get these backwards, neither the PC or the phone is going to work. Neither one. So I do need to really pay attention to the ports I'm using there. Secondly, I'm going to configure the first 10 ports for my voice and PC VLAN. Remember, we're going to do something sneaky. We're going to stack those two VLANs on top of each other. So my phones need to be cabled into this port 1 to 10 range. So over here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit on this one. And let's go from phone into switch. So let me zoom in on this first one. Actually, I will zoom back in. And I'm going to go down to my phone so I can get a real close look at it. Okay. On the back of the phone, you'll notice there's two ports here. We need to cable into the port that's going to go to the switch. You notice that one says PC. That's the one I would literally connect the cable from here to the PC. The one labeled switch is the port designed to connect to the switch. So I'm going to connect from there, and I'm going to go over to my switch, and I'm going to make sure I'm in ports 1 to 10. So I'm just going to use port 1. And now I'm going to do the next phone. Okay, let's do the next phone here. Switch port over to the switch. And I'm just going to go right across the top. I'll do 1, 3, and 5, just to keep them somewhat organized. Making sure I'm getting that switch port. Making sure I'm getting the switch port. If by chance you accidentally get in the wrong port, just use the delete key and you can come in here and delete that connection, grab the patch cable, and just connect it again. Okay, not a huge deal, but make sure you have that switch port. So back over here, I'll go back to my switch, port 3. Good. Okay. They're going to stay orange because the phones aren't powered on yet, and we're not going to power them on yet. We need to get everything in the network configured before I power these things on. Second thing, I'm going to connect a patch cable from the PC into the PC port on the phone, like so. Okay. I'm going to connect the patch cable from the PC into the PC port on the phone. And again, we're not worrying about power cords or anything yet. We are not doing that. We will do that later. And there we go. Okay. So if I zoom out just a little bit, I'll see, actually I'll zoom in a little bit more there. I'll see that the PC is connected to the phone is connected to the switch is connected to the router. Those are going to stay orange until I power them on, which I will do later. Do not do that now. If I go back to the logical view, I now see exactly what I have over here. Okay, so it worked out. I just wanted to do it on the physical side so you could see how it looks for real life. So there's how we're going to cable up. When I come back in the next podcast, we'll start doing the switch config, then we'll move on to the router config and so forth.